My marriage is rooted in Atlanta, but my husband's relationship with my mother is in the garbage. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review season 15, episode 5 of the Real Housewives swinging doors in other people's faces of Atlanta. We start the episode off right where we left off with everyone getting kicked out of Kenya's charity event. Back at the hotel, Kenya's annoyed, she's upset, she's over everything, she wants to be in her room, and she wants to end the night. Not on Marlo's watch. Marlo's thinking, no, Kenya, you still need to come downstairs and earn your Bravo check. You're not gonna come downstairs? Okay, I'll come to you. So Marlo and the rest of the Scooby gang, they go upstairs to try to figure out what's going on with Kenya, what's happening, why is she not outside? And if I was Marlo, I would have just said, you know what? Fuck Kenya, let's go out to the club, let's do something fun. You know, maybe we could find a couple of sugar daddies because the archive could have used a couple of new pieces, but no, you want to dedicate your energy to Kenya. So upstairs she goes, she starts slamming on her door like, Summer, Summer, come out. Kenya, she finally comes out. She's looking at Marlo like, what are you doing, you effing psycho? My daughter's in here. Marlo, she doesn't care. She just tells her, okay, go put her in a different room like it's nothing. So Kenya, she slams the door. She starts yelling at her like, oh, I'm gonna call the police. Leave me alone. So Marlo, she starts walking back and forth in the hallway like, you know what? Forget Summer Moore. That's enough. You know what? You guys could do whatever. I really don't care. I'm not caring. I'm going to my room and that's enough. Sheree, on the other hand, Sheree is just looking lost like, wait a minute. What do you mean about Summer? You know, because Sheree, she's probably having flashbacks to when Andy asked her, oh, so when is She by Sheree coming? And the only summer that she knows is summer, spring, September. I feel like Marlo's issue with Kandi and Kenya are the same thing. She feels that production is trying to save Kandi from discussing this shooting and sweeping it underneath the rug, as she says, because Kandi gets to pick and choose what she wants to discuss on camera and what's too personal for her. And with Kenya, the same thing. Kenya, she gets to pick and choose when she wants to be a part of filming, when is filming enough for her, and when she could go back to her hotel room. And that's it. And she gets to decide that just because she has a daughter. And I feel like Marlo feels that that's unfair to the rest of the cast who has to show up and film for who knows how many hours. So maybe that's why she's acting out. I'm not sure. Is it okay? I mean, it technically is a job, so you can't just walk away whenever you feel like it. So meanwhile, Moneta's looking at Marlo's antics and she's like, I get that Kenya could come out here and defend herself, but she kind of just threw me by myself to the lions. And then it starts clicking in Moneta's head. Wait a minute. Drew's not here, Kandi's not here, and Kenya's not here. Maybe it's my time to shine. Maybe I don't have to be in their shadow anymore. Oh, I don't mind ooh, living under your spotlight. Ooh. So she takes this opportunity to try to get a peach for season 20. And she starts going back and forth with Marlo like, Marlo, no, I don't agree with you banging on her door like that. Cut it out. Meanwhile, Sheree, she's also like, yeah, I mean, doing the whole kicking and banging thing, that's too much. I didn't do that. And then the flashback, what do they show him? Sheree kicking on the door. So Sheree just, So Moneta and Marlo, they continue going back and forth. Marlo, she starts telling Moneta, you know what? No, because Kenya, she needs to be a prime example. She's the oldest, youngest lady here. Which I didn't know that. I didn't know that Kenya was the oldest one out of the group. I thought that it was Marlo, but then they get onto the elevator and it was giving me flashbacks to Sonja's house. You know how she has like 2,000 different people living in one space? That's what this reminded me of. They're just cramped in there like a bunch of sardines trying to argue. Moneta's like, you know what, Marlo? I really can't wait, hold on. Somebody's stepping on my pinky toe. Move up. Sheree, your elbow's in my stomach. Who's grabbing on my ass? You know what, Marlo? I can't stand your behavior right now. Well, you know what, Moneta? I really don't. Hold on, the camera just hit me. Like, they're just in there really trying to argue while production is trying to get every single angle. Like, it's not possible. As Marlo is walking out, her and Moneta are still going back and forth. So she's going through this door. She grabs the door and she swings it back with force towards Moneta's face. And I watched it a couple of times and it wasn't accidental, like, oh, the door springs back and forth open. No, she meant to do it with force. Like, she put her weight to it and she pushed it back at Moneta. Luckily, Moneta had Catwoman reflexes because she grabbed the door and she slammed it open before it hit her. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, the second that you swing a door in my face like that, that's basically you putting your hands on me, and now we have to fight. What was Nene's tagline that one season? When one door closes, it's time to beat somebody's ass, or something like that. Because if Moneta would have dove at Marlo, I would not have been upset about it. Because again, it's like Marlo is itching for a fight. Just like I said in my last review, you were banging on Kenya's door knowing that her daughter was there, and now you're swinging doors in people's faces, and you just expect them to be okay with that and let you do whatever? Luckily, Moneta, she didn't really react too much to it. I mean, she did kind of speed up to you, but she was just using her words. Courtney, she got in between both of them like, no, wait, hold on, guys. No, Moneta, hold on, because she's trying to be your bestie. She's trying to be your bestie. Did you know that my ex, he used to be in Groove Theory? No, Moneta, relax. I could give you an autograph by him. Marlo, shh, you need to breathe a little bit. I'm like, Courtney, okay. And you know, something that about Courtney, it took me 5 episodes to realize who she reminds me of. She reminds me of, if you're all familiar with the show Flavor of Love, season 1, there's a contestant. Her name was Hottie. And her and Courtney, just the same persona. Especially when she had the confessional and she was just like, oh, you know, she didn't really swing the door in her face, and then she looked away and she blinked, and then they used the little ring. Like, that's the same thing that they used to do to Hottie. Marlo, she starts using the infamous line, oh, you know what? I'm not gonna give you a moment. And she starts walking away, and I cannot stand when anybody on any type of reality TV show starts saying, I'm not giving you a moment. AKA, I'm not gonna give you a scene. I'm a star. I'm walking away. And that's exactly what Marlo did. Marlo, she's outside. I'm not sure what she thought this was. She thought that this was some type of drive-through window. She's waiting for her food outside of the hotel behind the glass window, and you know, people are showing up. Can you imagine if you were fans of the show and you just so happened to see Marlo just screaming outside? Like, Marlo, can I take a picture real quick? And she's just screaming outside like, oh, you know, I'm not giving her a moment. She's thirsty to talk about me. No. Courtney goes to check up on her, and Courtney, you know, Courtney's cool. I kind of like Courtney, but Courtney, I just don't like that she gives me the vibe of a kiss ass, because she's telling Marlo, no, it's completely okay. No, your feelings are completely valid. Like, no, you didn't swing the door at her, like, at all. Like, you didn't do anything to her. No, I completely understand what you're saying. No, you're like my new bestie. No, trust me, you could stay at my house after this. Like, I'm completely on your side. I'm like, everyone else is inside the lobby, and they decide to call Kenya to see what's going on. She lets them know, you know what? If you're not a part of my close circle of friends, I would rather you just go home and leave. You can go. And I'm looking around at the cast like, okay, you're not her close circle of friends. You're not her close friend either. Neither are you, or you. So that leads, nobody. Like, is Akila, the one from 2 episodes ago, is she here somewhere that we don't know about? Like, the producer? Like, who's this close friend that she's speaking of? So then Sonja's like, well, you know what, Kenya? We wanted to come out and support you. Like, we're all here to support you. Like, we're here for you. Like, what's going on? That's not fair that we're just, like, leaving like this. Kenya, she's listening to her like, okay, so who's this? If I was Sonja, I would have just packed my stuff and left crying, because that is disrespectful. Sonja's like, you know what? Okay, fine. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm going to leave. And I can see why now Sonja, I see why she won the gold medals for her, you know, for her Olympics and running, because the way she zoomed out of there, I mean, she literally told Kenya, okay, fine. She left the camera for like a second. She came back in a whole different outfit, her luggage, everything in hand. And I'm like, how did she do that? You know what, Sonja, just for that, here's another gold medal. Because that takes speed. And Sonja's like, you know what? No, I don't have to do this. It's fine. And I would have been with Sonja. You know, it's fine. I already filmed my little scenes. Bravo. You already got my timestamps and everything. You're still going to give me my checks, right? This Friday? Okay, I'm going to leave. I'll see you next week. Bye. That would have been me, like, just wasting my time. Like, the last 2 episodes, this episode and last episode, what was the point of the trip? Just to come over here and find out that Kenya used to eat ass. We get kicked out of a charity event, and now we're basically getting kicked out of a hotel. So Onyeda, she's explaining to Kenya everything that just went down between her and Marlo, and Kenya's like, well, I told you that Marlo is a snake. I mean, look what she's wearing. She's wearing a snake print dress. What did you expect? Monyetta's like, and I like Moneta too, you know, all jokes aside, I do like her. She's telling Kenya, well, you know what? I just, you know, my superpower is kindness. It's friendship. And I'm looking at her like, well, you need to trade those superpowers back to Professor Xavier of the X-Men and get different superpowers, because who the hell wants those superpowers? You need the superpowers of strength, just in case somebody throws a door in your face. You could just bam. And knock it down, or like teleportation. Like, if you don't see the door coming, you could just disappear, end up on the other side. But that's your superpower, Moneta? Okay, so then Marlo, she comes back inside. She's sitting with them. And Monietta, oh, she sounded so cringy because she tells Sheree and Marlo, you know what? I'm not a killer, but don't push me. And Marlo was me because Marlo starts laughing at her like, a killer. Okay. Just laughing uncontrollably. But then we see Drew leaving the hospital and she couldn't make it to Kenya's trip because she wasn't feeling good. She had the flu and she had really bad symptoms, but now she's okay, so she could go back home with her husband, Ralph, as if that's a better option. But then we see Todd at the office or his house, one or the other. We see the return of Kandi. She comes in, Todd, he's excited to show her his new movie poster that he's been working on. And Candy's like, oh, so wait a minute, Todd. What exactly is it that you're about to show me? So then Todd, he gets this poster, he shows it to her. And the movie, I believe that the movie is called I Get to Cheat on My Wife and It's Okay. Or something like that. No, it's called The Pass. And the premise is this couple, they basically give each other a pass to basically sleep with somebody else and it's okay. You freaks. But you know what? I'll be right there in attendance. I'll watch. Then Kandi, she starts talking about the whole Mama Joy situation, like what she said about BravoCon. Well, what she said about Todd at BravoCon. And she's like, well, you know what? My mom did talk to me recently, but she didn't mention anything about BravoCon. And I'm not really sure she's going to bring it up. But you know what? I'm really tired of her disrespecting you. And I feel like I'm actually going to put my foot down and talk to her. And I'm like, where's my bag? Both of you need some lip gloss? Your mouths don't get dry talking about the same thing over and over? Because I'm like, okay, you know, Kandi, we heard this over and over for every other season. Like, what's next? What's new? We head back to Alabama where we see Marlo on the phone with her life coach, Sharon. She's on the phone with her. She's telling her, you know what, Sharon? I really cannot believe I let these women take control of my emotions. I cannot stand that I allowed that. I need to be stronger than that, you know? And I just know that Sharon, every time she hangs up the phone with Marlo, I know it plays out like this. No, I understand, Marlo. I understand. No, I completely get it. I think what you need to do, you need to practice our breathing exercises that we practice. Remember, breathe in and breathe out, okay? We'll talk next week, or we'll talk in a couple of days, okay? Okay, take care. We'll talk soon. Bye. Oh, I can't stand this bitch. And then she probably takes like 3 shots. Like, oh, she really wore me out today. Like Marlo is hilarious. You know, like I said before, I know everybody hates Marlo. I love Marlo. I think she's delusional and she's crazy. Like, what? Like, she's really making it seem like she just didn't cause all of this mess on her own and now she's blaming it on somebody else. Okay, and then what kills me is that we pan over to her room, right? After she's on the bed, she's reading her Bible, I believe, and she's so serious about it. And she's just laying there like, yes, let's see, it says, good shall conquer evil. And I just could not be her camera person for her scenes because I'll just be staring at her like this. I'm the camera person. Is that a Bible in her hand? Marlo, put that down. Like, what are you doing? Like, she really wants us to take her serious with that, but okay. So then we see Kenya. She's in her room and she's like passed out. She doesn't really look too good. And for this scene specifically, I wonder how exactly did they film this? Like, did she open up the door? The producers went in and they told Kenya, oh, you don't want to film right now? You want to go to the hospital? Okay, but before that, can you get back in bed real quick? Put your head on the pillow. We're going to film you from over here, okay? Make sure to call the ambulance. Give us 1 second, okay? Give us like 20 minutes before you do it. Hold on, we need to film. Actually, we're going to go on lunch break and then we'll come back, okay? Bye, we'll see you soon. Like, how does that work? Like, how do they film scenes like this? But Kenya, she's just sitting there, laying there, and then she calls the ambulance. She's not feeling good. She has a fever, you know, all this and all that. She's just not feeling good. And she feels that everything that she's been doing these past couple of weeks is finally catching up to her. And, you know, I love Kenya, but, you know, I don't know. It's just something about the timing. It just seems awfully convenient that she had to perform. And I feel like maybe she didn't get the choreography down and maybe she didn't want to perform. But again, that's one side of me. But then the other part of me is like, okay, this is serious. Maybe she is not feeling good and maybe she does need the ambulance. But Sheree being nosy, she comes out and she's looking around like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? They fill her in that Kenya has to go to the hospital, that she's not feeling well, and she has to get wheeled out on a stretcher. So eventually we see Sheree, she reunites with everybody else in Courtney's room. She's telling them about what just happened with Kenya, and they're all concerned. Marlo is so annoying. Marlo, all of a sudden, she has this great concern over Kenya, and she was just like, what? No, you're not kidding. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? No, not my baby girl. Not Kenya Moore. No, I can't believe this. No, I can't. I hope she gets a speedy recovery. I hope that she's good. Oh my gosh, maybe we should go visit her. And I'm like, but Marlo, literally less than 24 hours ago, you were just, banging on her door, calling her Summer, telling her to come out, telling her to put her daughter in a different room, and now all of a sudden you have a change of heart? Okay, that's pretty crazy, but all right. So then they call Kenya to see what's going on. She's in the hospital bed. They're like, oh, Kenya, are you okay? What's going on? What's happening? Kenya, she tells them that, she has a high fever. She's feeling a little dizzy. She's just not feeling good and she needs some rest. So they're like, oh, so do you want us to come visit you? Kenya, she was just like, oh, no, absolutely not. She said, no, it's okay. I got the hospital here. I got the nurses. It's okay. You can stay over there. Leave me alone. And Marlo, she just continues on with her concern for Kenya. And she was just like, you know what, Kenya? I get it. I really hope that you feel better, baby girl. Okay, I'm wishing you nothing but the best. I'm sending you all my love. How's Brooklyn, by the way? I really miss her. Is she okay? And I'm like, but Marlo, again, just less than 24 hours ago, you were telling Kenya, oh, put Brooklyn in a different room, blah, blah, blah. You didn't care about either one of them just less than 24 hours ago. And now, all of a sudden, just because Kenya's in the hospital, you have some big love towards Kenya, which is all fake because it's probably gonna go away in like 2 seconds, if not less. Moneta, she starts getting emotional and she starts crying because it reminds her of her mom. Her mom had passed away recently, and it's understandable, because I could see her getting triggered, or anybody getting triggered seeing somebody in a hospital bed in this condition, and death just happened to you. So I get it. She starts crying. Marlo. She just does not stop. She just could continue going with her theatrics. She leans forward to try to give Moneta some type of comfort, some type of love. Mind you, again, she had just thrown the door in her face less than 24 hours ago. Now she's trying to show her love. She's like, oh, Moneta, oh, come over here. So as she's leaning in to give her a hug or to show her some type of, comfort, Moneta, she's crying and she's like, yeah, it's just really difficult. It's just really, hold on, don't fucking touch me. I can't stand you right now. But yeah, it's really difficult right now. She made sure to tell Marlo, no, I still don't like you. Leave me alone. Back up. And then Marlo's like, oh, come on, Moneta. It's fine. It's okay. Come over here. And I'm like, oh, Marlo, so fake, so fake. And part of me, it almost sometimes feels sincere from Marlo, but it goes away in 2 seconds because you could piss her off in 2 minutes and then she'll come at you with all these low blows. So they hug it out. Moneta's like, okay, whatever. I'll hug her now, but just make sure that I know people who could handle her or whatever. And then Marlo, she puts the cherry on top because she's like, well, you know what? I feel like we should all just do a little prayer for Kenya. And I'm like, not a prayer for Kenya. I mean, I get the good behind that, but coming from Marlo, I don't know if I would necessarily want a prayer from her, because next thing you know, I'm in the hospital bed. I catch an exorcism. Absolutely not. Like, this will be me. I do not want any type of, absolutely not. I don't want any type of prayer. From Marlo, leave me alone with that. Like, I'll be swatting all those prayers away from me. Like, absolutely not. But she gives a little prayer and she's like, let's just wish that Kenya Moore, the queen of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, well, besides Nene Leakes, let's just wish her a speedy recovery. And, I get it that on season 6 at the reunion, Portia Williams, she dragged her to the floor, but I'm still wishing her the best, even though me and her are not in the best place right now. And we're not going to be by the next episode. Amen. And I'm like, Okay, whatever. I guess it's the thought that counts, right? So eventually they all get ready to leave the hotel, this whole pointless trip. They go down to the lobby to get food. They're talking about, what could have been with the performance. Monietta, she gives her little two-step of what she was teaching Kenya. They're impressed by it. And then they try seeing what's going on with Kenya again. Apparently Kenya, she's now checked out of the hospital, which that right there is what made me suspicious about her behavior. I'm like, wait, so were you sick or were you not? Because it was pretty severe. So the fact that you just left the hospital like that so easy. And then Marlo, again, Marlo in the confessional, she was like, well, I mean, I did wish her a speedy recovery, but not this damn quick. Marlo is terrible. But yeah, apparently she left and Marlo tried to give her flowers or send flowers to her hospital room, but they had said that she had checked out 30 minutes ago. So what's really going on here? Then Courtney, she starts talking to, I believe, Sheree. She was just like, so wait a minute, Sheree, so like, is everything gonna be okay between you and my cousin? And I'm like, wait a minute, her cousin? Who? And I'm like, oh yeah, Drew. Well, technically you're cousins with her husband, not Drew, unless they have like some type of weird relationship going on. But Sheree is just like, well, I mean, I didn't really do anything with Drew. Drew started out the rumors that supposedly when I gave you guys the whole She by Sheree merch at the reunion last season, I took it back. Which honestly, coming from Sheree, it's pretty reasonable. She's known to being cheap and not paying people, allegedly. So I can believe that. But she's like, yeah, everything is gonna be fine as long as she's fine. It's something petty, it's whatever, right? We then get a glimpse of Kandi letting us know that she couldn't make it to Kenya's trip because she had to receive her award for being a part of Ebony's Power 100 list, which I don't know why we didn't get any type of footage of that last week. Like, we could have squeezed in a scene or two of that, but okay, then we see Sonja and what's her name, and Courtney. They're shopping around for chakra for their vagina, and that scene lasted so quickly. I mean, just when they were about to start a conversation, Sonja was just like, next. We just zoomed over to Kenya's house. And speaking of Kenya's house, so Kenya, she's there. She's opening up the door for Sheree. She's coming over and Sheree looks so good. The yellow high heels, the yellow top, the jeans, the hair, everything about the look. She looks so, so good. So she's walking up the stairs. They're sitting down in Kenya's room already. Kenya with the... Maybe she wasn't lying about being sick, but, if I was Sheree, I would have been like, oh, you know what? I have something to do. Martell and I, we have a date right now. We'll talk later. Goodbye. But she's doing okay. She's not doing the best, but she's doing much better than what she was feeling in the hotel room. So then her daughter, Brooklyn, she runs in to get a hug, and it was so cute. Brooklyn is just so adorable. She goes over to Sheree to say hi and to get a hug from her as well, and then she leaves the room. So then Kenya asks Sheree, so what's going on with you and your health? I know you told me about the fibroids. What's going on with that? Sheree, she finally came out with the decision that she does not want to go with the surgery route. She wants to do a different method that her friend told her about. So she's going to do that, and yeah, hopefully everything plays out well for her in the end. And then she also tells Kenya, she tries to prank her like, you know what, Kenya? There's also one thing. And Kenya's like, wait, what happened? And Sheree's like, I'm expecting, she's pregnant. And Kenya had the same reaction that Cynthia had when she told her about Velvet dying years ago. She said, what? Imagine if they would have used this little clip right here on the sneak peek for this episode last week. Imagine, we all would have been like, now Sheree, cut it out. But Sheree was just like, oh, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around. We then head over to Kandi's house and she's having her mom, Mama Joyce, come on over so they can discuss their issues about Todd. Oh, sorry, I fell asleep. I get sleepy watching the same shit over and over and over. So Mama Joyce, she comes on in. They sit down on the couch. By the way, Kandi, your couch is really, really nice. I love that couch. It looks so cute. They sit down. It's pretty awkward at first. And we already know how this whole conversation is going to go, right? Kandi, she's not going to have any type of backbone to her mom. Her mom is going to say and do whatever she wants about Todd. And we're going to go on to the next scene. And that's that, right? So Kandi, she starts off by saying,
well, hi, Mom. I'm pretty excited to see you right now, but you know what? I'm not really excited or happy about what you had to say about my husband, Todd, at BravoCon. All the media outlets, they all reported on it, and I don't appreciate what you said about my husband.
Mama Joyce, she's just looking at her like, oh, okay, so what do you want me to do about this? And she tells her, well, I mean, they asked me a question. Andy, he's messy. He asked me a question and I just answered it truthfully. And I mean, she did, but still, it's very disrespectful. And Kandi has the awkward smile where, again, she's uncomfortable because she wants to tell her mom a different thing, but she knows she's not going to. So she's just looking at her like,
yeah, but I just feel like what you're saying about my husband is very disrespectful, don't you think? I mean, you keep saying that he's broke, he's this, he's short, and you just need to stop. It's really not nice. Imagine Ace or our children watching you on camera talk about their dad like this. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't appreciate that.
Mama Joyce had the audacity to say, oh, well, every time I come on over here, Todd, he's always sleeping. He's never here. Yeah, because he doesn't want any conversation with you. I wouldn't either, honestly. So I would pretend to be sleeping too. And she's like, yeah, every time I come on over, he's never doing anything. He's not teaching Ace how to be a man. And I'm like, isn't Ace like 6 years old? Like, calm it down, Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce, and it's sad because I can't even say she needs to change her behavior. She needs to change her ways because she's at the age now where it is what it is at this point. The people come to an age where unfortunately you can't really change them. And it's been like how many years and she still doesn't get it through her stubborn head. So Candy's never going to change her mom. Todd is not going to change her mind. She's never going to change. It's just going to be like this, unfortunately. And the fact that you want Todd to teach Ace, a little boy, how to be a man, to take out the trash, blah, blah, blah. She has a very outdated way of thinking and it's very stupid. Like, Mama Joyce, cut it out, Kandi, she goes on to say,
yeah, but I just feel like we need to stop this. Like, you need to cut it out. That's somebody who I'm with. He's married to me and I'm married to him. And I love him, Mom. I love him. And you just don't understand that at all.
And Mama Joyce is just like, I mean, yeah, we do have different ways of thinking about him. At one point when I met him, he was like this small little man. And now he's kind of like just there. He's like George Jefferson. And he's just not really anything. And, with Mama Joyce, she will always see Todd as somebody who's broke, doesn't do anything, is lazy, is just using her daughter for her money, and that's that. And that's pretty unfortunate. And Candy's like,
well, I mean, maybe we should get some type of counseling.
How about no? How about all three of you just get off the show? I'm sick of it. Like, it's done, Kandi. Your mom is never going to change, unfortunately. I mean, maybe with counseling. And what is she going to take out of that? Nothing. But, eventually she continues on by telling Kandi, well, you know what, Todd? He goes to the strip club, blah, blah, blah. It's just disrespectful. He doesn't do anything. Candy's like,
well, I mean, I go to the strip club with him, too. Like, I go with him, too. I'm not intimidated by any type of stripper.
So then Mama Joyce was just like, oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't either, I'll have the best body in a strip club when it comes to my man. And Candy's like, wait, you have a man? And Mama Joyce is like, no, not yet. And Candy's like, oh, well, exactly. And honestly, Mama Joyce, with the way you think about somebody else's husband like this, I can only imagine how you criticize people that you will want to be with or your past relationships or whatever. So good luck with that. Kenya, Sheree, and Drew meet up to have these energy IVs injected into them. So as they're getting that done, Sheree and Drew, they want to talk about their differences and how Drew, she put out there that Sheree supposedly, allegedly took back her She by Sheree merchandise that she gave to everybody at the reunion last season, but she took it back once the cameras went down, which again, I still believe. So Drew, long story short, it was a miscommunication because Drew, she wanted this purse that was on the rack. She wanted it, but then Sheree's like, no, that's mine. I'm taking that, and that's that. Come to find out that was actually Sheree's personal bag with her personal belongings. So that's why she didn't give it to Drew. So it was really all a petty miscommunication, but hopefully now they're good, and hopefully Sheree gave them back the merch if she took it back. And then Kenya, she starts talking about Courtney. She tells Drew, so did you give her my number? Like, what happened? Drew, she was just like, no, I didn't. And, that is a good question. Like, who gave Courtney the number? Production. And supposedly Courtney, she has this whole event going on next week, next episode, like some laser tag or laser thing or whatever she has going on. And Kenya, she's a little doubtful about it, but whatever. Then they started talking about Marlo and that whole situation between her and Drew 2 episodes ago. Drew, she broke it down, and how Marlo, she was basically delusional and making up her own story and her own narrative of what happened. You know, we all saw what really happened. So the shooting and how, so Drew, she's from Chicago, and supposedly people from Chicago, they don't say the word shooting. So that's why she didn't mention it. I mean, I don't know if anybody's from Chicago and anybody wants to confirm that, please let me know. But that was that, and that was basically the whole scene. But, you know, let's talk about something else, you know, because I saw, you know, so much uproar online about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the past 4-5 episodes, and how everybody is just dragging this season or this show in general, calling it boring. What's the other word? Boring. It's just crazy, and it's constantly, the ratings are low. I believe last week the ratings were at an all-time low, and you know, everybody just, it seems that nobody wants to watch it anymore. And it's so sad, because the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that's where I got started with the whole Real Housewives franchise in general. And it's so sad to see it go down this path, and, you know, to see everybody basically bashing it, because at one point, everybody used to praise it. You know, this was must-watch TV, like, and it's just so sad the way it is now. So I put a poll up a couple of days ago, and I put, what do you all think that, you know, what would you recommend to help out the show? I put new production team. That was my first option. The second option was a whole new cast. Like the Real Housewives of New York, you know how they're about to have a whole reboot with a whole different cast. They just fired everybody. It's either that, or the other option that I put in, you could add Tiffany New York Pollard, if you know, you know, to the cast. I just feel like she would just bring a whole different energy, a vibe, whole everything to this show. Or just work on a whole different show, like a whole different city. My personal thing is, unfortunately, as much as I love Kenya because she's my personal favorite housewife, next to Nene, or at least who Nene used to be, I just feel like they should kind of just let everybody go. I know, it's hard to accept it, and it's a tough pill to swallow, but I just feel like it's kind of time, you know, it's kind of time to see everybody go. You know, I love Kenya, I like Kandi, I like this whole cast, I love Marlo too, but I think that we just kind of like need to restart it, because if this is how everybody feels about this season so far, and this is 5 episodes in, you know, and I'm enjoying the season, me personally, I have nothing bad to say, but I don't know, I just feel like maybe it's time to just restart with a whole brand new set of women. The only reason why I'm open to that suggestion is because I like the way they're going with the Real Housewives of New York City. I've never seen any of the past 14 seasons, and now they're coming out with a new season with a whole different cast, and yes, I will watch, because now I want to get to know who's who, what's going on, what's happening. It's interesting. You know, here, we kind of know where everybody's at with everything. Kandi, you know, next season she's going to open up a different restaurant, or a new this or a new that. Todd, her, they're going to be complaining about, you know, each other and not having enough time. Mama Joyce is always going to be the same thing, and that could be a little tiring, but it will be sad to let Kandi go. I like her too, so I don't know. It's kind of like a bittersweet thing. Like, you want to see the show progress, but at the same time, you know, we kind of grown up with this cast, or at least some of them. Sonja, I don't know who you are yet, but same for Drew. But this isn't just for Atlanta too. This is for New Jersey specifically as well. The Real Housewives of New Jersey, that needs a whole reboot. That needs a whole everything. Like, they need to throw that into the garbage and then take it back out and then clean it and then put a bunch of Clorox on it and then restart again, because those intros alone, like, you know, but that's a whole different conversation. I would like to see not only New York Tiffany Pollard, but I would also like to see Corinne Steffens. I believe that's her name, Corinne Steffens, aka the Video Vixen. If you know about her, if you don't know about her, she has this famous book, and the book was pretty interesting. I would like to see her on this show and get to know who she is, you know, besides what she wrote in her book and what she's known for, etc., etc. She'll be interesting. I feel like people would tune in for her, you know, just to see what she has to say, what's going on, how will she interact with the new cast members, etc., etc., and go about that. With this current cast, the only person I could actually see moving forward will be Drew. And one more thing. People really need to stop with the whole bring Phaedra back, bring Nene back, bring Portia back. Like, I just, no, Nene, I love Nene. She was my number one for years until, those past couple of last seasons. And she just wasn't the same person anymore. And I just feel like she'll probably come back with the same energy. First of all, that whole bridge between her and Bravo, that's done. So I don't know why people can't accept that. And she just, I don't know, I just don't think that she will add anything to the show anymore, unfortunately. I just feel like she's over it. Phaedra, she's on Married to Medicine now, so I don't think that that's happening, especially since Kandi's still on the show. Portia, I liked her on Ultimate Girls Trip. It was very refreshing to see her on TV again and interacting with the different housewives, even though she teamed up with Giselle, but that's neither here nor there. And she is hilarious and everything, but I don't know, would she come back? I believe she's gonna be on Watch What Happens Live with Andy and Sheree later on this week or something like that. So that's interesting. Maybe she will come back for next season. Who knows? But even then, will she be able to save the show? I don't know. I'm not sure. And then people want Marlo fired. People don't want her with the peach. I like Marlo. Is it just me? It's me, right? Nobody likes Marlo, but I love her. She's just delusional, and I love her. I love, her whole thing or whatever. Yeah, she has some really bad moments that I don't agree with her behavior or what she says or whatever, but, we all do, and that's fine too, but let me know what you think that they should do for this show in general. Now, let me know what you thought about this episode too, and if you have any type of hope for the rest of this season, because I do. But then again, that's just me. Let me know if you think differently. And one more thing, it's officially Pride Month, so I got my nails done in Pride colors. Hopefully you can see them well. On this hand, I got a rainbow, and on this hand, I got the trans flag colors. So it's baby blue, white, and pink. They came out so cute. I love them. So, time to celebrate all month from June 1st all the way to the very end. And even next month. Let's celebrate all summer. But, happy Pride Month to everybody who falls underneath the LGBTQ plus community and the allies too. Let's have fun, stay safe, and, just have a good time. And speaking of, let's talk about what happened yesterday. I guess this video is not over. Let's talk about West Hollywood Pride. So I went yesterday. Garcelle and Sutton from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, they were part of the parade as well. They were on a car. They were driving in slow motion, waving at everybody. It was a fun time, and I managed to get a picture with them because as they were driving, the car was moving very slow as part of the parade. That's part of the process. I'm there, and I'm like, Garcelle, Sutton, blah, blah, blah. And I took my phone out like this really quick, and then obviously they see me, so they just posed quickly, and we took a selfie. Luckily, the selfie came out nice. I'll put a picture up here. And yeah, it was a really fun time. And then Sutton, she had an event at her store, and I went to it, and I actually met Sutton one-on-one. We hugged and everything. She was very sweet. I tower over her though, like I'm very tall, and she's like up to here to me, but she was really sweet, and we couldn't get a picture. I could have, but I didn't want to be annoying because press was there, and they wanted, to talk to her and do interviews with her. So people were taking pictures of her, and when we met, we hugged and everything. She was sweet, and she was like, we'll take a picture as soon as I'm done with this press. And I didn't want to see him press. So, I was just like, what? It's completely fine. It's fine. Me and her, we already took a selfie technically with Garcelle. So it's okay. But you know what the other thing that kills me? Garcelle was in the store and she was right on the other side of the wall where I was standing, and I didn't even know. I didn't know until she came out and she was leaving. The black truck, it was there to pick her up. And she walked out. She was with somebody. She was talking to somebody. So I didn't want to be rude and interrupt. And I'm like, Garcelle, you were right there the entire time. And I was literally just standing there enjoying the vibe, watching everything, seeing what's going on, seeing Sutton do press, while Garcelle was literally right next to me, basically. And I never even knew. Like, the wall was right there. If I would have just went into the store a little bit more, maybe I would have seen her, but it's just so unfortunate. But it's fine, maybe we'll cross paths again in the future, at some point. This is my second time seeing Garcelle this way. The first time, if nobody knew, I saw her in a store, and, I was like, Garcelle, and, she said I was cute. So, you can't really tell me anything now. But, that was my experience with that. And then Garcelle, she left, and, Sutton, she continued doing the press. And I eventually, I was still there for a little bit, and then I left and I did my own thing, but it was still nice to, meet them and everything. But that was my experience at Pride. And yeah, with that being said, let me know what you thought about this whole episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.